Hi there, this is Hermie and Permium. If you like that, you're going to love the fact check. Miss Monica. Hello.
Hi.
I have an update.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm kind of famous for this, right? I've done this once before, you may recall. I was in Italy and a man offered me his leather jacket. So I invited him to our home and he stayed with us for a week and he didn't speak English. And Kristen was like, that was a pretty wild invite. She was lovely to him and it was fine. But, wild invite, stranger for a week.
Normally something she would do, not you. So it is weird.
I know. I get these weird moments of like great optimism in humanity. And I think, I don't know what I think. But all to say, about 3 months ago, Freddie, who I've told you about a million times, Delta's buddy, who I adore Freddie. I think he's the greatest little boy. So popular and confident. And so he's over all the time. And then I see his mom quite often, well, almost every morning at drop off. And she's lovely. We chat every time we've talked, we see each other. And then the dad, Blake, I've seen just a few times at the big run at the back of the school or whatever the big school events are. And I say 3 months ago, you guys should come to Nashville this summer with Freddie and bring all the kids. And it felt so good when I said it. And I just was like, this is going to be great. And then, for the next couple months, I was like, well, that was a pretty big swing. We've never, ever hung out with anyone other than Freddie. And so we had like a dinner before we left a couple months ago. We were like, minimally we should all go out to dinner. Mm-hmm. And so we went out to dinner, but this whole summer we've had visitors the whole time, but they've been family or old friends. And then this was just looming that this family I've invited to live with us for a week, who we don't really know, is coming. And so I had anxiety about that. And Delta and I picked him up from the airport on Friday. Kristen and Lincoln had flown back to LA to see the Hollywood Bowl Cynthia Erivo thing.
Jesus
so
Christ,
it's just
superstar.
D-Money and I, the big man upstairs superstar. Mm-hmm. And so they arrived. Again, I don't have Kristen there as a buffer or helper. And it's just Delta and I. And it started off immediately really well.
Great.
And then it just got better and better and better. And Blake and I were broing out so hard. He's a drummer, it turns out. He was super into the punk scene like I was. We had all this in common. He's a rascal. The other two kids who are tinier, I completely fell in love with. One of them is a raccoon animal, the little girl. She's a vampire and a raccoon. And she said we were watching Tom Cruise. We were watching Days of Thunder, continuing the Tom Cruise's party. Mm-hmm. And someone in the movie said, fuck. And then you hear her go, he said, fuck. I love swear words. I like to say fuck. This is the tiniest little, I laughed for 20 minutes straight. This tiny, cute little raccoon sound. I like to say, oh my God, it was so fun.
What makes her raccoon like?
Oh my God. Well, she's a couple things. She's definitely Arya Stark too. She's always got like a knife in her hand and a weapon.
Oh my God.
And she wants to, yeah. She's like feral and impossibly cute. She looks a lot like Vinny. She's like the girl version of Vinny.
Oh my God.
Way too big of eyes. You got to see her. She's incredible. And then the little boy Sal is just so sweet. Oh my God. So my God, it was such a fun visit. And I said to them the night before they left, can we all acknowledge how high risk this was for everyone involved? And they both came clean and they're like, oh yeah, we were like, what did we say yes to? We don't even know these people.
Yeah.
Like, all of us were like, what is this Hail Mary pass we all committed to? But with high risk came great, great reward. And it was so fun. And Delta she was driving Freddie around on the golf cart the whole time. Like she was a little boss and she had the run of run of the roost. Is that an expression? She was just on fire. And now here's where it's going to get controversial.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to give it a shot. Oh, what am I saying? You already went. Never mind. We're not going to have a dust up. We took them to Brick Tops.
Oh, yeah. Great restaurant.
So I think I have this right. People could correct me. I believe the founder of Houston's and this person were partners, and they split up. And the man who didn't stay with Houston's in Hillstone started Brick Tops. I'm pretty sure that's the history.
Okay.
Maybe
So
Rob will check it while we're on the...
Yeah, Rob, check it. I did ask, and I got got different information, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
But as everyone knows, Houston's is our favorite restaurant. But I have to say, and this is crazy to say, Brick Tops is better.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I loved it.
What did you order at Kristen's birthday party?
I got a burger. It was incredible. It was so good. And
Did you have the deviled eggs and bacon?
Yep. So good. I thought it was an incredible meal. I would love to go back there. And I think Houston's is better, personally.
Wow. Okay, so we're split.
Bit. Yeah.
We're split. Well,
I'm not finding any connection between Houston's owned by Hillstone Restaurant Group and Bricktop is owned by a separate guy named Joe.
Well, I guess could you ask if those two are ever partners?
That was my search, yeah.
My guess is, and this has happened with Houston's a lot, that people work for Houston's or like their managers or whatever, and then they start their own restaurants. And a lot of them are very based off of Houston's. There's one here in LA. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what. That's like definitely that.
I found something. Bricktop's owner, Joe, was one of the original co-founders of Houston's.
There we go. Yeah. That's what I thought and have been told.
With George.
By reputable people.
Yes, George Beale.
Yeah, George Beale, is the founder.
George Beale and Joe Ledbetter and Vic Brainstetter.
The first Houston's ever was in Nashville. It closed, but it was there.
1977, the first Houston's in Nashville. 77.
Yeah.
Wow. They've been at it.
I know. Well,
okay,
anyway.
so then I was right. So yeah, it's got some shared DNA vibe.
Definitely.
Yes. So great. Okay. So that was that. What a win. So sad to see him leave yesterday. Now, last night we had a very unique experience. I have heard of the Grand Ole Opry through many a Waylon Jennings songs, many a Hank Jr., Hank Sr. Don't you know they fired him from the Opry, and that caused his greatest shame. I've never been to the Grand Ole Opry. I've only heard of it. Mm-hmm. And we went last night, and what a place. Have you been?
I don't think so.
There were multiple acts. Everyone did like 3 songs. You know, these are all like several of the people that played had written a bunch of Miley Cyrus songs or had written all these hit songs. So it's mostly like the songwriters who are also performers. And so, you know, it's just like premium musicians, not the stars, but the songwriters. That was really fun. And then, Leanne Morgan, who I'm new to, but she's so radical. She's 59. She'd been doing comedy for like 25 years and was going to quit, basically. And in the last few years has just exploded. She had a Netflix 1-hour special. She's got a show with Chuck Lorre now on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
And she's like 59, and it's just so rad and life-affirming. And then, who came out, Monica, after her? Jelly Roll.
Yes.
Jelly Roll, who we were so close to interviewing here in Nashville, and then he was just on tour. I got to meet him backstage. He's so lovely. What a sweet dude. And what a performer. Oh my God, I recommend everyone see Jelly Roll. What a monster. And then, okay, beyond that, you know what I was noticing, which my continual kind of like just observing the culture and how it's like different down here. And it's really genuinely different. And especially at a place like the Grand Ole Opry, right? Where it's just like, it's tradition. It's Hank Sr. It's all these famous, it's a hallowed venue.
Yeah.
And you've got a host of the night, and she is like bringing out the different acts, and then she'll interview people for 5-10 minutes after. And then she'll like read some stories of people in the audience, whatever. All to say, there was this, I was like having a hard time pinpointing what was going on. It all just felt so nostalgic. It felt like we were seeing this in the 70s or 80s. And there was like, she had a delivery that just made you feel good. Like it was outdated, I guess, in some sense, but it just felt so good and positive. And what I was really detecting is I was like, you know what it is? There's just a real absence of cynicism. That's kind of like it's one of the ingredients I've kind of isolated is like, there's really just a much lower rate of general cynicism, which is interesting to observe and quite pleasant. And, you know, everyone's talking about Jesus, right? Like, and obviously that's not my bag. But even Jelly Roll is talking a lot about Jesus and how Jesus helped him get his life together, and everyone's on board. And I was a little bit like, yeah, I mean, you come to atheism through cynicism. I do. That's how I got there. I'm like kind of cynical of this story. I'm skeptical. It doesn't hold water to me.
That's not, yeah, I disagree. I think cynicism isn't the same thing as critical thinking. Cynicism is negative. It has a negative streak through it.
I'm going to get the real definition just so we can read it and see what we think. I think you're right, but what's the definition of cynicism? A cynical person tends to believe that people are primarily motivated by self-interest and distrust others' sincerity or integrity. Philosophical origin. Cynicism was originally a school of philosophy founded in ancient Greece. The Cynics rejected wealth, power, and social conventions, believing virtue was the only good and that it came from living in accordance with nature. Well, let's just say that we would agree probably the line between skepticism and cynicism is pretty thin. Or no, for you?
Sure. I think that's, yeah. I think that's right. I also think it's a little dangerous because cynicism is, to me, a pejorative. And to me, skepticism is not. To me, skepticism is a smart way to go through life. Like, it is required, actually, to, I don't know, like, come to your own real beliefs about everything, anything.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So Kristen had a long follow-up on the ride home because it was like very palpable and it was interesting. And it was much different than anything you would see in Los Angeles. And that was fascinating and worth talking about. And what's interesting is like, it's a two-sided coin. So one thing is like, Kristen's like, well, I don't like that the notion of like, you're an addict because the devil's a liar and evil tempted you and sin found you because the devil's at work and evil's at work. Like that really takes away your own personal responsibility from your addiction or your cheating or whatever the thing is you're saying, oh, the devil found me. So that's true. But on the flip side, that wasn't rubbing me the wrong way. What was rubbing me the wrong way is, you can't give this guy in the sky credit for your sobriety. Like you did that. God did not come down and take a bottle out of your hand. I want you to own that you did that. So it's interesting because so on one side, there's a lack of humility, which is like, I'm not even responsible for this. But then on the success side, there is great humility because he's not even taking credit for it. It's like, he's saying God intervened and did something for me I couldn't do. So that's an interesting mix, right? It's like, which side of this equation are you going to be really humble on? The fact that you own your responsibility in causing it, and then by which you get to own your success in conquering it? Or are you going to say, I'm not fully responsible for it, nor am I responsible for the solution? So I think it's like, it's kind of it's net the same, which is interesting.
Yeah, but it's similar to me. Not similar, it's exactly the same as the sim conversation we had with Riz and your problems with it, right? Where you're like, if we just say we were assigned a character in a video game that's so problematic, because what about all these other characters that are suffering? Like, so God gave you this thing, but isn't giving another person the same. Like it breaks down so quickly, because even if they're like, well, God made me sober, there is still I agree that there's a humility because you're not taking any credit, but it's also like God chose me to be sober.
Yeah, so it's just interesting. You already know how I feel, which is like I don't believe in God, but I'm just recognizing what is the outcome of it, and that's interesting. And it's interesting that there's not humility on one side, but then there's a lot of humility on the other side, and then flipped for someone like me who's an atheist. That's interesting. But I think so then it led to Chris and I saying, oh, what's interesting is she's like, no, I would come to that realization I needed to get sober, and here's the technique I needed to use, and I would credit that for it. And I said, yeah, but you know what we're really just arguing between is like, what mechanism do you want to choose to get there? So it's like you could choose my version, but the result's not drinking and taking pills. His can be God, and the result is not taking and drinking pills. Like, we're really kind of just debating what mechanism you want to use to get there. And if both are valid, that's interesting. And then, but deeper than that, and this runs the risk of offending some people, I had this moment where I was like, I'm on the outside thinking, oh, they just lock stock believe that God invented all animals in 7 days, and that Jesus is the son of God, and they're the same person, and there's no women involved, and somehow they think all that is accurate. But I got a different sense sitting there last night where I was a little bit like, no, I think it might more be just a choice of a holistic worldview, and you're not necessarily. Whether I believe in every aspect of it isn't what's important. The importance is I have this declaration of humility to this thing, and that's this really bonding thing between all of us. And I thought it was a little more literal than maybe it might be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's true for a lot of people. I don't think everyone believes every single word to the letter. I think some people do, and they say it, right? They're like, the Bible says this, so you can't do this. Like, and it is often used to tell other people what they're doing wrong or right, which it's weaponized, for sure. But it's definitely, religion is a community. It's an in-group. It is that. I mean,
and the result for them, which again is like you're kind of arguing over mechanisms to get to a result, and the result for them is like this real sense of shared community.
Mm-hmm.
And in my just kind of unfolding a lot of things sitting here, which is really fun to have as an experience, which is like, the other thing I've been aware of since I've been here is like, I'm so used to being in LA where there's 12 million of us and we're really packed in on top of each other, and resources feel very scarce, and water's sometimes an issue. And, we have fires, we have a lot of this stuff. That is the world we live in. And we're very worried about being sustainable because there's so many of us in this little area. And I was thinking, yeah, if you're sitting here where I'm at, it's just endless trees and lush, and it rains nonstop, and everything's growing, and there's a kabillion insects. And it's like, here, everything feels quite healthy. Like this place is thriving. Like nature's on fire here. I understand if you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know what they're all so freaked out about. Like, everything's fucking great.
I mean,
because what are you surrounded by? What you're surrounded by is going to definitely impact how you think the world is or isn't really vulnerable or on the brink or teetering, But it is. It's not the same. It's not fires, but there's other disasters that are happening over on that side of the country as well. And there's hurricanes, there's tornadoes, there's the Asheville situation. Like, it's still happening. It's just not, it doesn't look the way it looks here. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're in Michigan and you're surrounded by the Great Lakes and you're hearing the rest of the country freak out about fresh water, intellectually you understand that that's their experience. But your day-to-day experience is like, no, water actually isn't a problem at all. I see it everywhere. And I have no emotional connection to that because that's not at all what I'm experiencing. I would just have to be like intellectually traveling to where you're at and thinking about all that. But just my day to day, if you're in Michigan surrounded by the Great Lakes, I understand why you're not thinking about water.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. And I think it's not, we're not obligated to be like constantly thinking about other people's plights, but we are obligated when those come up to have empathy and sympathy for them and do force yourself to put yourself in those people's positions across the board for everyone, us too. Like everyone needs to be doing that. I mean, and we're just talking about this country, let alone like the world.
Oh yeah, I just I'm experiencing the massive different mindset you have if you're in a rural area versus an urban area, you know. And I grew up in a rural area, and then I went to an urban area for 30 years, and now I'm back in this rural area, and I'm just realizing like, oh yeah, you feel a lot differently. You think about different things. There's not people everywhere. There's no traffic. You're not like, you know. A lot of these concerns you just have to know exist, but you're not having any experience. Or even like when I look at the rural response to COVID, like, yes, that makes sense to me sitting here. When we were in LA and you're just like packed on people, you're like, oh, this thing's going to fucking explode like an atom bomb. And it's true because you're going to have different mindsets if you're living in tons of ample land or you're really packed in on each other. And it's kind of predictable, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Speaking of being packed in, did you hear that in Harlem, there's a big breakout of Legionnaires disease?
Oh, no. That's the one you get from AC units?
Yeah, it's in the air.
Yeah.
Like 58 people have it and a couple have died.
I have a friend who got it 2 years ago from a hotel with a stanky air conditioner. And he was telling me that. And Aaron and I were in Gulf Shores, Alabama. We're in a restaurant. I'm looking at this AC vent on the ceiling, and it's just like black mold mud. Just all caked all around the register from whatever the difference in moisture level between the AC. And I was like, oh my God, that thing is just spewing Legionnaire's disease. I'm overly worried about Legionnaire's disease.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because yesterday I was like, oh, I definitely got it in New York. Like I definitely got Legionnaires because I have like a little bit of a cold or like I'm a little under the weather. So I was looking it up and then, you know, it's like harness, headache, things I have. So we can't.
The double H's, harness and headache.
We can't rule it out.
H squared.
2H.
It is a scary one because it's a silent killer just pouring out of an AC unit.
Yeah, I know. So that's bad. I hope
I will say, though, as we've talked about, some diseases are terribly named. Like my penis disease I had for a year, Peyronie's. Don't do that on top of having a penis issue.
Carbuncles.
Pepperoni's disease, carbuncles. At least Legionnaires feels like it has some pride and glory. Like you got it maybe in battle.
It sounds like it was in war. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you're not like as embarrassed to go like, I had a bad case of Legionnaires.
But I also like that it's Legionnaires because it also has the transmission element included in the name, Legionnaires. So it is transported by air, and it's easy for me to remember that way. It's kind of a built-in mnemonic device.
Okay, great. I hadn't even considered that part of it.
Yeah. Speaking of luck, it's lucky that I probably don't have Legionnaires. So that's my transition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
had a moral dilemma.
Oh, fun.
Yes. So I was staying at the Bowery Hotel, At the Bowery, they give you the key is on this tassel. It's this like old school, huge red tassel with like gold top, and it has the number of your room engraved in there. It's a thing at the Bowery, and you can't take it, right? Like it's not like a regular key. Now
I can already feel where this is going, but go ahead.
Okay. I was in room 1111.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's huge for so many reasons. One, it just is. Like 1111 is such a cool room to be in. Two, 1111 is my thing. Like I'm always seeing 1111. I'm always wishing on 1111. It's like it's part of me. It's very lucky. So I go through this whole trip and it's like, wow, this is so cool. And then the day before I left, I was like, looking at the tassel and it has engraved in it 1111. And I was like, oh my, I need this. Like, I have to have it. But I also knew, well, fuck, if I take it, is it going to have the opposite effect? It's there for luck, but if I steal it, like, am I going to be cursed?
Yeah, I mean, yes, is the answer to that.
But also I knew they would say no if I asked. Like, I was like, they're going to say no. I know people who've asked and it's like, you can't have it.
And they won't tell you who makes them?
I don't.
Because why don't you just have one made?
No, that's not lucky to have it made. It's like, you got this and like, that's the luck. You know, you can't manufacture luck. So I was in a huge moral dilemma. I asked a bunch of people their thoughts on this.
This is recurring. You recognize this is recurring. You wanted to steal the mugs.
Sure.
You want to steal everything from places.
No, I don't. I want to have
You want to steal
things.
plates. You wanted to steal a candle holder once, and I tried to find it for you.
Wait, what candle?
You wanted to steal this candle holder, and I found one for you. You don't remember? It was like a pewter kind of.
I don't remember that.
You wanted to steal it from like an English restaurant, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that sounds so cute. Yeah, it's not that I want to steal things, hence the dilemma. I want the thing. And I don't want to steal it. I want them to give it to me. I want permission. Like, I want
Think
it.
if that was your defense when you got in trouble for stealing a car and you said in car, what I wanted was them to give it to me. I didn't want to steal it.
Listen, normally I ask, I'm like, how can I have this? Tell me how I can have it. And then when they say you can't, that's when the stealing starts to come into play, right? But I'm
best option, yeah.
I didn't steal those mugs. Remember? I wanted to, but I didn't do it. I wanted to steal the candle from the restaurant, and I didn't do it. Like, I normally have the instinct, and then I don't see it through. This was the height, though, because I was like, I have to have this. Like, there's no option for me not to.
What did you do?
What do you think I did? I want you to guess.
I think you turned it in.
Rob?
I think you returned it too.
Okay. I took it.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Hold on. I did it properly. I went to the front and I said, I know you're going to say no, but I'm in a very lucky room and I really want the tassel. Is there a way for me to have it?
They said what?
They said, they laughed and they said, the tassel. Yeah. So if it is taken.
If you lose it, we charge you $60.
She said, if it is taken, there's a blank charge. I'm not going to say the amount. So they said, so there is a way to take it.
Okay.
And then another person next to her laughed. So that was permission to me. That was permission granted.
Yeah, that was somewhere in between begging for forgiveness and asking permission. That's like in the middle somehow.
Yeah, because I knew.
You threaded the needle.
Yeah, because technically I know what they're supposed to say is like, no, you can't take it, right? And I knew that. So I had to say.
Yeah, no one's got
it.
time to be replacing all these. Like, if all the guests want their keys, they need a whole new department now.
Right.
That's just replacing the keys every day.
Right. But also.
I'm a little bummed you took it because as you're telling the story, I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to ask AI who makes these keys. Hopefully they can find out. Your birthday's around the corner. Finally, I have something to get you for your birthday, and now I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm like happy for you and I resent you.
I understand. I think that's how a lot of people feel about me. It's definitely good luck. And I feel good. I feel like it was definitely permission granted. And I paid for it, I assume.
Yeah.
I assume I got charged. And great.
And you love it. Have you looked at it and held it since you got home, or did you move on to the next?
No, I love it.
Do you ever like rub it on your neck, like tickle your neck with the tassels? Like, are you ever laying in bed and just kind of tickling yourself with the tassels?
No, it's probably a little dirty for that. I don't think I'd put it on my face.
Okay.
Or close.
Maybe your heels, like your tickle your feet.
Oh, speaking of, tomorrow I'm going to get a medical pedicure.
What on earth does that mean?
It's like at a podiatrist, they're going to give me like a real pedicure. They're going to make my feet look good again for Eric.
Oh, okay. Like dig out like ingrown nails and stuff?
Everything. They're going to make them babyish again.
Well, I hope they don't make it literally a baby toe like I have. I just had to go through that whole thing with our guests because my feet were exposed a lot. And I had this hunch that they were dying to know why I had a baby toe on one foot.
Right. And for people who forget, your middle toe is a baby toe and it sticks up a little bit and it's tiny.
It's super tiny, and then the second toe has a comb over it. It's completely curved to the side. It's confusing for them when they see it at this stage because they're like, wait, he shortened that one in half and then turned your other toe to the right. I'm like, no, that happened on its own.
Yeah.
And it's probably getting worse. And then Blake said, oh, he's trying to protect that little
That's
toe.
what I was
thinking. I think it's more of a stability issue, but he saw it as him like, wow, that little guy's tiny. Let's protect him.
The little piggy, the runt piggy needs protection.
Yes.
I think that's also what
it's
it
a
is.
mess. What a mess. Yeah.
All right. Should we do some facts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Let's do some fackies. Chris and David are cartel guys. What an episode.
What a couple fun-loving guys.
They were so fun. And whew, what a story. I love when we have people on who have all these really crazy stories to tell.
that have been in movies, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
our FBI.
exactly.
Yeah.
Scott Payne.
Yes, in the outlaw basement.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
good. All right. Couple facts. How many companies make challenge coins?
Wait, really quick. I know it was probably stated in the episode, but the notion of sending those two guys to blend in Colombia is really fucking funny. They couldn't have picked two more standout-y guys.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, there are many companies that do this now and can custom make them for the general customer too. So it's not just one company. Lots of companies do these.
Okay, great.
Air Force recruiting stats after Top Gun movies.
Oh, good. I was just going on about this the other night again without the numbers.
A statistic often repeated without attribution is that the 1986 Top Gun films led to a 500% increase in naval recruiting. But that figure has been debunked numerous times. Following the original Top Gun, there was a bump in recruiting, but it was much more modest, 8%, according to a recent fact check from the Australian Associated Press. But
the Australian, how would they have our info?
They're really good at it.
Okay.
But the Sea Service also began advertising 2 years prior to the original Top Gun, $13.3 million in 1984 and $19.9 million in 1985. So it's unreliable how much the movie was responsible for the uptick in recruiting versus advertising.
I got to stop saying that then. Did Maverick have any impact?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Maverick was huge.
Oh, this says, yeah. Will Top Gun Maverick boost Navy recruiting? History says probably not.
Yeah, I've been repeating that. I've been overseas and had generals tell me that.
You should have
So
told
at least
them
we're
they're
all
fucking wrong.
ill-informed.
Who was the Indy 500 racer who funded his career by smuggling marijuana?
I love this guy.
Richard Lanier.
Guys, watch this. It's part of the Bad Sports series on Netflix, which is a great, sports doc series.
1986 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year was secretly funded by marijuana smuggling operations. He started running small loads of weed via speedboats and barges from the Bahamas, but later started shipments weighing over 100,000 pounds hidden under legit cargo. It's expected around 600,000 pounds were transported in total. He was indicted in 1988 for distributing over 1,000 pounds of marijuana under the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Act. He received a life sentence without parole, which was later commuted to... Yeah, it says commuted.
Oh, it does? I thought it was communed. It's commuted?
I don't know any of these words.
Yeah, maybe it is commuted.
To 27 years behind bars. They found $2 million in cash buried in his father's lawn inside PVC pipes, which his dad was also sentenced for.
He's such a good time, Charlie, that guy. He's the most likable criminal I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was a fucking hell of a driver.
Yeah. It sucks. Why didn't he just do that?
Because you can't make any money doing that.
Mm.
Like 0.0001% of people in racing make money.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I get why he did it.
Yeah, he had to.
How many Colombians lost their lives fighting cartels or were victims of cartels? It is estimated that the Medellin cartel was responsible for over 4,000 Colombian deaths, including authority figures like police officers, judges, and the presidential candidate, Luis Carlos Galán. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What is the Onion Field cop killing movie mentioned? The Onion Field, 1979 movie directed by Harold Becker. Starred John Savage, James Wood, Franklin Seals, and Ted Danson, his feature film debut.
Oh, Papa Ted.
This movie centered around...
Friend.
This movie centered around two LAPD officers who were kidnapped by ex-convicts who feared returning to prison. One was murdered, Ted Danson, spoiler,
Oh, no.
in an onion field while the other escaped.
An onion field, to me, is a seahorse to you. I can't picture what that is at all.
I just think
I'm
it's a
picturing,
field.
you know, when you let an onion live too long in your cupboard and it sprouts an enormous green thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing, but I have no basis for that other than my cupboard.
That's probably right.
Okay.
What is the average THC level in weed today versus back then? Reports list modern-day cannabis to have significantly higher THC levels than in prior decades. According to the Cannabis Museum of Amsterdam, average THC levels were 1 to 3% in the 70s, 3 to 5% in 80s, 5 to 10 in 90s, 10 to 15 in 2000s, and 15 to 20% since 2020. This is validated by a University of Mississippi study, the National Library of Medicine, and other studies.
I mean, on one hand, you could look at that as a negative. But on another hand, you could go, well, people were always going to get high. So should they have to smoke a ton of carcinogens to get the THC? Or is it better if they're smoking less?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. The recruitment went through the roof after the first Top Gun. That I do know.
Oh, boy. Okay. Okay. How long does it take to manufacture a plant-based drug versus a synthetic? And what are the profit margins?
Well, this is a really in-depth question you've asked.
I'm so upset.
About?
This is such a good fact check. I didn't do this.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because I would have to be getting so far ahead to get this, but I knew this was the opportunity for us.
Yeah.
So I had Sophia, our incredible intern, listen for facts on double speed. And she did this.
Oh, wow.
And it is so
good.
much better than anything I do. And it is it's humbling. My facts are more like...
Playful.
Yeah. Okay. How long does
That is really fun. That's really funny that it just was revealed like, oh.
I mean, I've been thinking it this whole time. She sent me like such an
600.
intense...
Oh, my God. Sophia.
Really, really good.
You're
really
a
good
beast.
job. But is she checking like, is my dad the sim lord? Like, no.
Is she exploring whether or not she has acne or not?
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
She doesn't.
There's pros
She doesn't.
and cons. No, she doesn't.
She does not.
The indoor cannabis life cycle from germination to flowering can take anywhere from 6 to 20 weeks. Different sources say different things. Then the drying, curing, testing, packaging, and distribution processes can take anywhere from a week to 4 to 5 weeks. Outdoor growth can take up to 6 months. Synthetic drugs chemical synthesis takes a few days. Purification, testing, packaging, and distribution can take anywhere from a few days to 2 weeks, depending on level of quality assurance and testing. This is an extremely high potency per gram for many synthetic drugs, making it very scalable.
Cocaine's kind of a hybrid of that. You've got to grow the coca, but then you have to process it chemically.
Yeah.
And that's what's wild. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
They put in some kind of petroleum, like a turpentine or something, all over all the leaves. And they have people, so when you're snorting cocaine, you're getting some of their feet in your nose. They stomp on it like the grapes. Yes, and they're walking around all day long and they get sores on their feet. But
Carbuncles?
They're absorbing cocaine.
Oh,
so they don't
love
mind
it
at all.
Did you think about putting some cocaine on your farm uncle?
I didn't because I know I couldn't be trusted to apply it to my carbuncle. I've always said this, like, I don't think about drinking at all. I'll be at a bar. I don't even know, it's just,
You don't care.
I don't care. I've not seen a couple grams of cocaine laid on a table in 21 years, and I'm very glad I haven't. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay, the legal cannabis market has a gross profit margin of around 45 to 55%. Dispensaries typically earning net profit margins of around 15 to 21% in modern day. What year did they legalize big pharma marketing directly to the consumer? 1985 was said in the interview. In the early 80s, pharma companies started exploring TV ads aimed at consumers. In 83, the FDA imposed a moratorium on DTC, direct-to-consumer ads, to study the implications. In 1985, the FDA lifted the moratorium given they comply with advertising rules, which were in line with rules put on physicians at that time. Okay, so 85 is right. But then in 97, saw another policy change that loosened the guidelines.
This is a tricky one.
Yep.
Because if you are poor and you have no insurance and you don't go to the doctor and you have a condition, how are you to learn there is an immune suppressant that could fix it? How are you to learn? So in that way, if you at least go like, oh, there's a solution to this, now it's worth me going to pay the doctor to get the solution. That's great.
Yep.
But also advertising works.
Yep.
And we're so over-medicated, it's insane.
Yep. I agree. It is complicated.
Trade-offs.
It's all
This is what I think
trade-off.
about nonstop.
Trade-offs.
What's my new obsession? Trade-offs.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as wins. There's just trade-offs. We've had guests say that, but I really have
now you're
internalized
taking
that
it on.
now. Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference between carfentanil, carfentanil and normal fentanyl?
Yeah.
Okay. Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. It drives 70% of opioid overdoses deaths in the U.S. as of 2023. Carfentanil is 10,000 times stronger than morphine.
No.
Making it 100 times more potent than fentanyl.
Oh my God. You have a micron of it in your...
Carfentanil is not approved for human use. It is a veterinary tranquilizer for animals like elephants. A lethal dose of fentanyl is around 2 milligrams, while carfentanil can be as low as 0.02 milligrams.
Oh.
Ew, it can cause an overdose through skin or airborne exposure.
Well, sure. The patches, fentanyl patches.
Biggest organ of the body, the skin.
The human skin.
I did that fact. That was me, not Sophia. She would never do that.
She wouldn't know about skin.
She wouldn't know. She doesn't have acne. So how would she know?
Acne.
That's it.
That was great.
Yeah. Good job,
Yeah,
Sophia.
good job, Sophia. That's great. All right.
All right, love you.
Love you.